Miranda and Terry giggled about something you couldn't quite catch. But it became apparent the minute they exchanged cones and took a lick from each other. They don't both have cones, though. And took a look each. Actually, using the word lick might have been generous. They don't have cones. Terry got a snow cone, so there's a cone, and Miranda got a... Yeah, never mind. They both have cones. They're just not both ice cream. Terry! A peek at Miranda's half-eaten ice cream and the vanilla and chocolate smeared all over Terry's mouth said all that needed to be said about the situation. Terry pitched forward, clutching her head, the cone nearly hurtling to the ground as she pressed into her temples with both hands.
Ooh.
Karmic justice. Brain freeze, huh? I have never gotten a brain freeze in my life. Never. Ever, ever. I can eat ice cream as fast as I want and I don't get them. I mean, to be fair, I don't shovel ice cream into my face either, but I don't never gotten a brain freeze. It was hard to keep a smile from showing on your face. Yeah, looks like it. She might have deserved it. You snickered to yourself, trying not to laugh too loudly. Then Cole pinched the end of his popsicle stick, waving it like an accusatory finger in Terry's direction before taking a bite off the top. The regret was immediate on his face the minute he crunched down on it, stiffened into a cove-sickle. He stiffened into a cove-sickle. You could say he didn't deserve it. You couldn't say he didn't deserve it. Luckily, both Cove and Terry made full recoveries after a minute. Hey everybody, I want to try stuff too. People can try mine too if they want. You offered yours to Cove, though you didn't want to try anything yourself. You offered yours to Cove and asked if you tried his too. You didn't feel like sharing. You enjoyed fighting tree quietly. Yeah, you know what? This is probably the way Marina is. Oh, our most grateful and generous benefactor. You've given us a real treat. Cole smiled as Terry bid him to join in the act. Oh,
Sure.
a boon for Houses Holdenbrook and Eckert. Is this a Game of Thrones reference? Do you watch Game of Thrones? I feel like Game of Thrones was out by 2016. I mean, the books were around. I feel like it was a thing that was popular at the time. I feel like this is... Or it could be Harry Potter also, because there's the houses in that too. How about Holbrokert?
Very nifty.
Love it. That's a castle name. Yeah, I feel like... No, this is definitely a Game of Thrones reference. I hate Game of Thrones. When did we get a castle? The question went without an answer. Pass it over, buddy. Miranda nibbled off her cone through chuckles as Terry took an enthusiastic taste of your treat and followed that with an approving and nod. Are you done yet, you dessert hog? Nope, that's the trick, Randy. I never have enough. She grinned, her teeth were blue.
Well,
I too am generous and benevolent. Randy did a mock curtsy, holding her cone out to you like it was a fancy goblet. Please do me the great honor of a taste test. It was a quick enough exchange, met with Miranda's queenly approval after you had a selection of her ice cream yourself. The others continued chatting as you choked. As you clocked that there was a notably absent figure from the party. Okay, so yeah, I don't know. It was your fifth and newest addition to the group, who also happened to be the one you drove you guys here and made the plan in the first place, Baxter. Your eyes followed the retreating backs of Miranda and Terry, then to Cove, who had already started to outpace you in the minute you relaxed. You attempted to see if Baxter had gone even further ahead. There were no signs of that monochromatic color scheme you gotten so good at spotting. A low chuckle from behind you gave away the ghost. His tone was chill as always, but it was even more fitting alongside considering the theme of the moment was frozen delights. Oh? I wonder what it is that you're searching for, Marina. You felt bad not noticing that he'd been quiet since you gave your well wishes and sent the truck off on its way. You imagined he would have fit himself into the conversation without much issue, but he hadn't. Instead, he hung out at the very end of the crowd, inspecting his dessert with the gravity of a man who just faced his fear in the ocean for the first time. You decided to hang back a Baxter. You offered... No. We caught up with the others. It was possible he wanted that space, and he took for himself.
hey.
Baxter, come on, don't be a stranger. I like that she's the one including him in this, and not me. That makes more sense. Terry waved, her snow cone on high as she called out the man of the hour. He was still leisurely following at a distance. Terry pointed her partially melted snow cone towards Baxter as soon as he came close enough. I want to try yours too. Mine's a little slushy now, but that's half the appeal. He gave his ice cream sandwich to Terry, taking the paper cone in exchange. And for reference, what is the other half? Change your tongue blue.
Really?
Didn't you get a cherry? Yep. It's true! Cherry ice cream cones still turn your... or snow cones still turn your tongue blue. Are you sure you didn't get the wrong one? I'm not sure about anything in this life. After they each got a chance to try each other's desserts, Baxter and Terry swapped again. Then Baxter leaned against his car hood while everyone else happily situated themselves around the area. Yeah, Marina would not swap with this man's. With her besties that she knows, yes. Randy and Terry took seats in the sidewalk curb, apparently heatedly debating the possibility of blue cherry being a real flavor. It is. Terry had a fair argument considering raspberries weren't blue, and yet blue raspberry did exist for some reason. Blue raspberry is a wholly artificial man-made flavor. Cove hovered nearby, catching himself over the summer-warmed asphalt. Couching himself over the summer-warmed asphalt, he stretched and strained, trying to lick a stream of melted coconut popsicle running down his arm. Cove, you're going to sprain your tongue. Well, that's something you never thought you'd say. Ignoring your well-intentioned warning, he pressed on, his face squished against his forearm, tongue angling to try it anyway. I can do it. It's personal now. The limits of the human body were a pain, but it was still pretty funny to watch him try to fight against it. With the absence of the ice cream truck's music and the thrill that came with that, the street seemed entirely different. Houses quietly running the street, and you now heard the rush of wind. Branches swayed overhead in the breeze, and leaves rustled. It didn't carry the comforting smell of sea salt.
So?
Here we are. Terry hardly licked the side of her snow cone. She leaned on her fist, the arm propped up on the raised knee. Her tongue was extremely blue now. Far away from where we belong, and who knows where, camped out in front of some random suburban person's house. Miranda tilted her head back to look up the mailbox mounted to the concrete. Rocking to one side, she craned her head to get a read of what number was on the side of it.
Thanks.
Thank you, the fine people of 231, whatever this street is.
Thanks.
Sure, thanks to the people of 231 whatever street. Right, and thanks for driving us all the way out here, Bax. Can I call you Bax? Before he could answer, Terry sucked in a bit of air and waved it off.
Nah.
That's not right. I'll work on it. Baxter chuckled, taking another bite of his sandwich. There's no need to thank me. It was exactly what I had wanted to do. Hey, what'd you guys think of the ice cream truck? Honestly, I'm not sure this was worth all the trouble. It was totally worth it. Just enjoyed it. It tasted way stuff. This stuff tasted way better when I was a kid. Nah. Hey, what'd you guys think of the ice cream truck? I loved it. Sunset Bird should get an ice cream truck.
Oh yeah.
It was everything I've dreamed of for the last hour. Randy nodded, taking another lick of her ice cream cone. A glop of it dipped under her hands before Baxter offered a napkin, which she happily took. Someone who actually takes frickin' napkins. Thank you. It's one of the best ways to get ice cream. Grocery stores don't come close. Like, I can't stand ice cream and how messy it is sometimes. Ice cream, like, I'm probably going to get a bunch of ice cream over the next couple of days, and I'm excited about that. Next week. I'm inclined to agree. A suitable new feather in my cap for summer traditions. The sky grew pinker and yellower, and you knew the day was going to come to a close. Somehow it felt wrong. It had gone too fast to be over. Though summer never seemed long enough those days. And you were about to voice that thought, you heard the dim sound of someone gurgling. You immediately replaced the words that came out. Hey, did you guys hear that? I did. Yeah, what was it? Neither of the boys replied to the question, except the shakes of their head and shrugs in the negative. So, you'd think that would be the end, that transition stream, but then they come back here. There was no time for a follow-up question because the answer came in the form of psh, water bubbled, then shut up in graceful arcs all around. XOXO droplets splattered on pavement driveways and were coming towards the sidewalk next. Sprinklers! Randy made a break for it, dashing to the street with the speed of an Olympian sprinter. Randy, wait up! Terry leapt to her feet. Her shoes hit the concrete with wet slaps while Baxter wordlessly searched for cover himself from the surprise spray, meandering away without any urgency. He responded with remarkable poise about the whole thing, unbothered by the fact that he'd gotten wet today after all. Baxter even had time to finish the last bit of his desserts. You ducked behind the other side of the car. Randy, Terry, don't leave me here. Miranda held her arms out to you as you booked it across the street. You crashed into her. Terry greeted you with double high fives. The three of you watched the sprinklers from a distance. And this is why we're friends with these people. But Cove didn't even so much as flinch. He only stood his full height with his back to the car, a popsicle stick prodding from his mouth. He glanced over at the others and grinned as he withdrew the stick clean.
Oh?
How about this water-based activity? Most of us are still in swimsuits.
Exciting.
Oh, well, isn't that an interesting proposition? The challenge had been issued, and Baxter threw down the gauntlet. Cove's eyes popped open with shock, but he didn't allow the surprise to keep him from moving. He darted off to the lawns as Baxter came sprinting from behind it. It looked more like Cove was running away from him rather than into the sprinklers. My snow cone! Terry complained, sticking the paper cone higher in the air as she stayed well and good away from the sprinkler spray.
No.
It'll melt! Terry had a wetsuit on, but that wasn't going to protect her snow cone by a long shot.
Let's do it.
Come on, Terry, live a little! In spite of the fact that Miranda had led the charge for cover, she was easily convinced to jump into the fray. So... Wait. I thought she was running into the sprinklers, not away from them. We would have gotten in the sprinklers with Cove. I am sorry to do this.
No.
Exciting. Oh?
I thought this was... I thought she was running towards... Yeah, I took it in stride yourself then, because... Yeah, Marina would be all for jumping in the sprinklers. Sure, you'd gotten a little wet, but water was water, and you were hardly a stranger to it. You used to run through the sprinklers as a kid. It would dry pretty quickly. I thought that... I thought they were running towards the sprinklers. That's what I get for not reading, not paying attention. Yeah, and then we just do the rest of it.
Oh? Exciting.
No. Let's do it.
Skipping to the sidewalk with her ice cream in tow, she waved the two boys down to stop and wait for her. Terry sidled up to your side, clutching her honestly already melted dessert. Her eyes kept going between her much-beloved treat and the sparkling sprinklers, but she seemed to have chosen to preserve the sanctity of the snow cone instead. You guys go on ahead, here I come. Everyone was laughing. You say, nice and dry with Terry. Forget everyone else, these sprinklers were yours. What does that mean? I think here I come. Terry gave a thumbs up as you abandoned your shoes and went frolicking through the sprinklers with reckless abandon. The temperature of the water was bracing. Odds had been good that it had been cold, but it was almost on the next level. Did the suburbs put ice in their pipes? Still, you weren't about to regret that decision now. You dashed back and forth between the row of sprinklers. You spun around, jumped beneath the spray. You planted yourself in front of the most powerful sprinkler. You took Baxter's hand and ran through the sprinklers. You took Cove's hand and ran through the sprinklers. You took Miranda's hand and ran through the sprinklers. You planted your... This was what I would do as a kid. But I think we will spun and jump around beneath the spray. Like this, you could take it all in. Sprinkles sprayed in arcs, you twirled beneath it with your arms wide open to your sides and a face tilted toward the sky. You even thought about opening your mouth before you remembered it was recycled water. Ew! You were all fancy-footed and careful until you suddenly heard Randy cry out in surprise. That means it's from their, like, sinks and shit. And toilets. Maybe not toilets, but you know. Baths. She was covering her mouth and held what remained of her crumbling sugar cone. The ice cream had fallen, abandoned to the grass. Olympus has fallen. It was one thing to have a damp ice cream, but it was another thing if it fell to the ground altogether. Everyone stopped except for the sprinklers on their back and forth paths. And Terry Brook. Terry breached the wall of water, sidling across the grass until she could get a leg up. On one knee, she lifted her snow cone in offering as if it were the finest bouquet of roses. Randy, will you do me the great honor? Okay. I forgot about this moment. I forgot all about this moment. Oh? Miranda lit up brighter than any star, giggling as she wiped the last streaks of ice cream from her fingers. So when I watched Sorrow's playthrough of this, I was in a weird place and I wasn't really in the mood for this. She took the offered snow cone, dark hair falling forward as she smiled softly at Terry. Terry bounced up from the ground, dusting off what grass had adhered to herself to her legs. You know, it's just ice cream. I would have survived. Terry was aghast, her hand at her clavicle before she reached out for her snow cone.
Alright.
I'm taking it back then. Nope, you already gave it to me. Cove's eyes met yours as you turned in the direction of the boys, and he smiled, shrugging as if to say he didn't know what to do either. The two were already invested in a new game of keep away until Cove stole it right out of their hands, only to be immediately dogpiled by both. You turned to search for Baxter to see if he was going to join the fray, but he was distracted. His attention was squarely fixed on Miranda and Terry, watching as they argued about whose snow cone it was and if Cove really had a stake in the matter.
I see.
He stroking his chin with consideration before his brown eyes met yours, and the thought of his thoughtful expression gave way to a lax smile. He chuckled, gesturing to them as he gave you a look as if to say it would ask if this was typical. An answer to which you readily provided a big thumbs up. Hey, nice job.
I'm on it.
For Randy? Anything. Terry beamed in reply, elbowing Cove in the ribs before a sudden hiss of another sprinkler rising from its earthly tomb reminded her of where they were. Rise from your grave. Randy shotgunned the rest of Terry's snow cone. A champion was born. Terry responded by crushing the paper cone against her forehead, to Miranda's delight, though she did get some syrup in her eye. These people are ridiculous. And it wasn't long before that interlude was forgotten. Dashing and leaping resumed in its earnest. But all good things must come to an end. Eventually the sprinklers retreated to the ground, and all that remained of the celebration was 5 dripping young adults. Boo! I was just getting started. It should have gone longer. Honestly, I think it went really long for being a bunch of sprinklers. The sun was situated almost perfectly halfway below the horizon. It was probably about time to call it quits for the day. Actually, you were really sure to call when another breeze swept by and caught on the now soaked and very cold fabric of your clothes. Shivering in place, you watched as Terry and Miranda immediately found each other again, the girls clinging desperately to each other for warmth. Oh! Cove tugged at the hem of his shirt, pinching it away from his body before allowing it to fall back with a wet slap. I should have taken this off before I went in. He promptly rectified that and took off his shirt, cheeks pinking with embarrassment when the girls took a break from being cold to whistle at him. Yeah, Marina would probably not do that, actually. Never mind. Guys, I wasn't wearing this at the beach. It's not different now. Cove wrung the water out of it before swinging the shirt over his shoulder instead of pulling it on again. And before anybody says anything, it's going to be colder wearing that than not wearing it. The damage to your shirt was as bad for you as it was for him. Oh, but you weren't going to start... Well, she wasn't wearing it at the... You weren't going to start stripping. No, not in front of Baxter. You could handle an extra layer of wetness. I do regret that we did not bring our towels. He ambled onto the roadway to retrieve his abandoned shoes and socks. Baxter then returned to his car side, as did the entire gang. To the side, Terry and Miranda remained linked. Their knees were practically knocking into each other. You couldn't pry them apart with a crowbar if you tried. That had to be effective. Alright, Randy, Terry, let me in on that too. I'm cold. Baxter, you shall open your arms to him. Cove, you wanna hug? I really didn't think this through. Baxter then gave the group a once-over. Miranda and Terry were still chattering their teeth, and Cove, in spite of the claims to the contrary, wasn't doing too hot either. It would be no trouble if we were to return now. I truly don't mind if the car gets wet. Randy and Terry vehemently and loudly disagree with the suggestion. It's a rental. They'll probably charge you if we truck all this water in.
You know.
Not exactly. He's also got it for the entire summer. I think it's going to dry out before the end of the summer. Well, at least we can do is wait until we're not dripping everywhere anymore, right? Even if we're not all the way dry? He glanced at the car and then the others. Baxter already started reaching for the door handle when they disagreed. He allowed his hand to fall to the side. I suppose it would be tragic to ruin leather upholstery. Thank you. It is kind of you to be so considerate.
In that case...
I am certain my acquaintance will appreciate it. Terry mouthed acquaintance to Miranda, then over to you, only to be met with equally confused shrugs from you both. He's renting it from a friend, not from a rental agency. Cove shook his head until water started flying from her hair. It spluttered against the side of the car, already wet from the sprinklers earlier. Hey, Cove! If it's fine with Baxter, then we can all stay a while longer. Absolutely. Staying longer didn't mean staying still, though. You and the others walked down the sidewalk, sandals and shoes squelching with the residual wetness as you made your way through the neighborhood. The neighborhood, but not your neighborhood. It's so weird that it doesn't smell like the ocean. Cove's nose crinkled as your head perked up. He smiled as if to confirm the two of you had been on the same page the minute he ever mentioned it.
Oh, yes.
I find the scent of lawn clippings rather relaxing, personally. Me too, Baxter. As much as I hate you. Huh? Okay. Your band of 5 continued to meander past a street sign, and Terry narrowly managed to avoid getting her shoe stuck in a gap in the concrete. You know something? I know a lot of somethings. I love these people. Miranda offered cheekily, grinning from ear to ear as she looked in your direction. I don't know how we got from the beach to here. The very important quest for ice cream, remember? She swatted Baxter in the side with her free arm. He rubbed at the place, and you wondered if it actually hurt him or if the water was for dramatics.
Hey!
Hey, you can add sprinkler running to your list of water-based summer activities, and since we're talking about your past water exploits... Cove already tensed up before Terry even asked her question. How'd you end up skinny dipping anyways? Cove dropped his face in his hand, shaking in disbelief, while Miranda snorted a quiet, oh my gosh. You remember that Cove was the one who brought up water-based activities to get Baxter sprinkler running in the first place, but you weren't going to mention that.
What?
You guys aren't curious? I'm just asking what we were all thinking. The people want to know. I'm the people. I'm the people. People want to know. I'm the people. Baxter gave a subtle, non-committal shrug. It is not nearly as intriguing as you might imagine.
Honestly.
I believe about 3 years ago I was vacationing at a lake cabin and I was dared by those in my company. A dare. A tale as old as time. Words as old as rhyme. I believe it was around midnight and the water was freezing, but it did make for a memorable trip. As I said, it isn't a particularly remarkable story. So did everybody there get to see him naked? For like rich kids hanging out at like a fancy cabin though, that's probably a thing. When you heard the sparse details, it was easy to believe. That seemed exactly the kind of thing Baxter would do. Although, is this another hint at Step 2? Or Our Life 2, I mean. Do you get to participate in the Baxter skinny dipping moment in Our Life 2? That would be something, wouldn't it? They showed the sparse details. It was easy to believe. That seemed exactly the kind of thing Baxter would do. He may be accommodating, but the minute the Cove challenged him to something, it was on.
Now.
More remarkable was today's adventure, I wager. It's not every day that I am able to go running through sprinklers or chase an ice cream truck across the city like a peasant. Much less with such delightful company. Oh, you. Terry let one hand dangle daintily. Her opposite one was covering her mouth as she acted like one of the many old ladies you could find around Sunset Bird. Hey, it is a retirement community. Baxter didn't reply, gaze now fixated on the sidewalk in front of him as you continued ahead, on one square of concrete after another. No, truly, it reminded me I am not nearly as old as I might sound. He gazed at the back of his neck with his hand. He grazed the back of his neck with his hand, holding it there. Then he stared up at the sky, but it was clear he wasn't staring at the clouds. He was searching for something past it that wasn't there anymore. Yet the last time I've done anything of this nature was when I was a child, running around with my old friends and causing havoc to our poor and unsuspecting town. More Step 2, or Our Life 2. We were happy to. I'm glad you suggested it. Do you still keep in touch with your old friends? In this different from what you normally do with your college friends? You smiled at him welcomely. You looked quietly in the distance listening. I'm glad you suggested it. Baxter hummed comfortably, allowing the conversation to lapse into silence. Whoa. That was a weird transition. The twilight stroll continued on until the sky was dark and street lamps flickered on. Even as night fell, you thought, but there must still be a chance to cling to the thread of day. Everyone was sufficiently dry now anyway, not to consider yourselves liabilities. When the vehicle came into view, Cole mumbled. Sitting outside in swimsuits still it's nighttime and getting ice cream, it really is like we're kids again. And completely skipping dinner! I can't stand that they did that. They completely skipped dinner. Not just like being kids on a vacation. Well, Baxter is on vacation. It's like someone's birthday or the 4th of July. Yeah, imagine having a summer birthday. Fireworks! Baxter dropped his keys and startled when Terry suddenly screamed.
Sorry.
He waved off the apology, kneeling down to pick them up. That was the second time his attempt to open the car had been interrupted. Perhaps the third time would be the charm. Oh, what was that about? Oh, jeez. This is going to end up being 2 videos, so there's going to be like a weird pause in the middle of it after that one part where I was considering pausing. Because this has already gone on way too long. And, yeah, so this is going to be the second part of a video that you're going to have seen. We can't go home yet. I just remembered there were fireworks today.
Yeah, oh, Jim, did you know there was fireworks going on? Yeah, Robert, no, what are you talking about? Yeah, Phantom Fireworks sponsors shows in random places in California now. I don't think that's true, Robert. Oh, what do you know, Jim?
Cove and Miranda looked at one another before they turned their scrutiny onto Terry.
Huh?
For what? I think it's to celebrate an opening or something. We probably can't get in the real event, but we can see with our eyes for free. She made 2 circles with her hands, holding them up over her aforementioned eyes as she advanced closer to Cove, who lightly pushed her back with a hand. Yeah, I forgot about the fireworks part of this moment. This does go on. It's a DLC moment, so of course it does. They can't stop the public from seeing the explosions in the sky.
Seriously?
Really, in their last-minute rush trip? Cove considered the suggestion, but ultimately shook his head no. I thought we were ready to head home. Ah, come on, Cove, don't be a wet blanket. Terry rode him off, likely aware that Cove could not be helped being wet. Turning to face you, Miranda and Baxter, the 3 that stood in the way of her night, continuing for an hour or 2 more.
So?
What about you, Marina, Randy, Baxter? Want to see some fireworks? Terry continued on without waiting for an answer. Isn't today all about summer experiences? What's more summer than fireworks? Summer 2025, let's get it! For them, it's summer 2016, let's get it. It's fireworks. We gotta go. I guess they are fireworks. Alright, whatever. What's one more scene change?
Yeah, what's one more scene change, Cove Holden? Don't be so negative. You know, everyone gotta go see some fireworks, Jim.
Robert, don't you think they've had kind of a late night?
What a nonsense, Jim.
I'm on it.
Yes, I knew this was a good idea. Yush. In turns, 4 sets of eyes locked to Baxter. As the driver, his answer made or broke the plan. He chuckled softly. In for a penny, in for a pound. I'll go. Honestly? Genuinely, there's nothing better to occupy my time tonight. We better hurry or we might miss it. He's also a night person, so of course he would do that. He's a night owl. Cove rolled his eyes but laughed. There was no time to lose.
The fireworks were soon to start. Sure start soon, Jim. If you didn't want to miss any part of it, that meant you needed to book it now.
The gang hurried into the car and were slowly blessed with warmth after Baxter turned on the heater and it began to kick in. Terry wiggled in her seat, proudly announcing that she had additional gift of seat warmers to the envy of everyone else in the car. Oh, yeah, this would be... Oh, you know what this reminds me of? When I was in one of my work jobs, we got to ride the president of the company's car because she donated it to everybody, and it was a Nissan Maxima and had all these fancy things in it. And that's what this. It looked kind of like this. That's what this is like. I don't think that's what this is, but it's similar. However, the goal wasn't to sit there enjoying modern accommodations, it was to get back out of the car as quickly as possible. Imagine how seat warmers would have helped you dry off. Well, just the front seat, though. It took a while to get out of the winding streets of the neighborhood, but eventually Baxter reached the freeway and zipped straight into the city. For the second time that day, you were met with the silhouettes of skyscrapers in the near distance, but now they were illuminated by explosive bursts of greens and purples.
Yeah, greens and purples, Jim. The purple of the Phantom from Phantom Fireworks.
Robert, I think you're getting a little too carried away.
Nonsense, Jim.
It's starting! Oh no, are we gonna miss it? Baxter's hand rested on the gear shift, digits curling against the handle before he switched into the right lane to exit off the freeway. Wait, the GPS said...
No, there's somewhere outside of the city that I intended to visit. I believe we can stop there and catch the show. It's an unblocked viewing area.
Oh yeah.
Baxter, you are brilliant.
Woo.
Pedal to the metal, unless you're already speeding, then don't go any faster. Cove and you turned toward Miranda, but she was already paying attention, her hard hands covering her cheeks as she cheered on Baxter while simultaneously advocating for traffic safety. Baxter tightened his grip on the wheel, changing a few more lanes before he exited and threaded through another tangle of local streets. Eventually, the car rumbled to a stop as the waterside path appeared in the dark. Oh my goodness, look at that.
Look at that, Jim. Look at what they got here. A waterside path, beautiful colors. This is Phantom Fireworks Summer, Jim. Look at that, Fireworks Summer 2025. Let's get it over here.
Robert, you know, I have to admit those are pretty good fireworks, but I don't think fireworks shows like this are sponsored by Phantom Fireworks.
Nonsense, Jim. Even in beautiful San Diego, California, they got Phantom Fireworks.
Everyone piled out on one side from the other, sprinting up the parking lot. Cove, Miranda, and Terry scrambled up the edge of the path at the water's edge. Baxter stayed in the middle between the start and the end, folding his arms and hovering behind the crew. His eyes were less fixated on the sights unfolding before you than they were focused on the other 3. Yeah, this is definitely San Diego, California, right? I love that they show you the whole city like this, though. I really wish you could tell. Like, if you knew enough... maybe I have to look at the San Diego skyline to see if this is LA or San Diego, because, like, this is a unique shaped building here. Pretty easy to tell, right? And high in the sky and far away, it was the perfect way to watch the fireworks. Less crowded than it would have been in the city, and quieter than it would have been there, too. It was kind of funny. You and your group lived on and in and around the city for almost all your lives, and it was Baxter who found this place for you to enjoy. Tourists did tend to put the effort in to find scenic spots. People who could theoretically see something every day didn't always take the opportunity around them. It's true, and that's why I always try to think with a tourist mentality when I go places. Randy pointed out a golden firework and beamed. That's so cool! Terry held up a hand to high-five Miranda, and Miranda obliged her. Terry whooped and shot you a smile.
Hey.
What color do you think the next one will be? Without giving Baxter a glance, Cove answered immediately. Green!
No, it's gonna be purple. Or maybe red.
It was orange. Baxter chuckled, but it wasn't interesting in calling Cove out for being wrong.
Hmm?
Isn't that your favorite color? Green. It's one of them. How do you know that? Oh, did he say, is that?
Hmm?
Is that your favorite color, green? I think that's nice. It matches you. He's hitting on Cove more than he's hitting on me in this moment. And yours is black. That's one of them. I didn't hit that. Cove smirked just a little and left the conversation there. You stayed next to Baxter, you joined with Miranda and Terry, you came up next to Cove, you and lingered into the car. You joined with Miranda and Terry. The girls noticed you moving closer and made room for you in the middle. You stepped into the space and they smiled at each other. Yeah, man. Hot girl summer, am I right? The two leaned in, sticking you firmly in between them. Terry laughed. Friend sandwich! Miranda laughed as well, and you smiled. The three of you watched the show all bundled together. One explosion of color followed another, and the exuberance of your friends couldn't be measured.
Look at this, Jim. You got just some fireworks up there in the sky, and all this is the Phantom Fireworks Summer 2025. Except for those people, it's still, it's 10 years ago. But they still had Phantom Fireworks then. Are you sure about that, Robert? I don't know. We were advertising stuff for Phantom Fireworks back long before that, Jim. 2017, 2018, those were the good years, Jim. That was the times when it was really good. Yeah, you gotta believe that, Robert. Back in 2018, 2017, those were the very best summers. Yeah, it's still good though, Jim. We can still get it with our pals. What? You'd seen fireworks before. They weren't anything new, but all those times you'd attended events before, it wasn't anything close to this. You nearly missed it, and it wasn't even a show, really, for you to see. That's what made it special, the effort it took for you to get here, the place you were watching from, and the people that you were watching with. The finale of the fireworks took center stage. The grand finale! The finale of the fireworks took center stage, dozens scattered across the sky, and the sparks of them descended to the sea below. It was as if they were impossibly far away, distant stars, and yet also close enough to reach out and touch them. That's a beautiful sentiment, Jim. You know what? Just because of this game and stuff, I don't want to, light you on fires this year. I'd rather light Baxter Ward on fire. Robert, that's so rude. Baxter is he's an important part of our friend group. I think he's a good guy and a healthy, individual. I hope that we can be friends with Baxter for a long time ongoing throughout this entire, step 3. Jim, you just don't get it. Baxter is garbage. We should have drowned him in the ocean when we had the chance. Robert!
In the back of your mind, you knew that there would likely be another day exactly like this one. When it was over, it'd be over forever. There'd never be another day exactly like that one. When it was over, it'd be over forever. And that made it a precious experience. You vowed to hold on to the memories, feelings, and this one single moment for as long as you possibly could. Yay, we did it. We had Phantom Fireworks Summer. We got to return Robert and Jim, and these have been extremely long, but we got through. This is going to be the longest moment in Step. This is going to be long, too, obviously, happiness, but since we're not doing any of the Baxter moments, so yeah, here we got, we've done Hang now with Baxter, but we're not these are dates, and yeah, I've already talked about that. Anyway, you've heard me talk long enough. Hope you have fun, enjoy your summer, and I'm going to be on a little hiatus for a while, so there won't be new ones of these till a little bit later in August. We'll see you then.